Well, hello from HAILEY, Idaho. Today's approach is going to be an NDB/dme Alpha. We're at FRIEDMAN Memorial Airport. That's going to be KSUN, Kilo Sierra Uniform November. Recently, I did a series of 5 videos on the most challenging airports as reported by airline pilots that I had researched on the internet. There were 10. I selected 5. Well, I had completed that series and I thought, what was I going to be working on next? And I have something in the works now, but I'm not quite nearly finished with it. But I came across this NDB approach and I thought, it's been quite a while since I've personally flown an NDB in a real airplane or in my simulator. This one I looked and it was also reported as a challenging NDB for whatever reason, high altitude, and there are some peculiar things about it. So let's take a look at this approach real quick. Now, I'm pretty sure you're well schooled with the dme operation on an NDB approach using the ADF unit in your airplane. Maybe, maybe not, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at it. You've been through the ground school. You've checked out a few other videos there on YouTube, and they're all very good. They all pretty much talk about the same thing. A couple different ways to teach this type of flying or how to use the instrument in the airplane for it. Some talk about push the head and pull the tail. Others talk about twisting the ADF heading to represent what your heading indicator represents. So you have a poor man's RMI, or just leave the indicator on 0 and just use the amount of degrees compared to what's on your chart to know when you're on course, off course, or when to use a wind correction angle. I'm going to try to display all 3 of those during this flight. With that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's brief the approach. It's an NDB/dme. The ADF frequency is 220. The inbound course is 335 degrees. There are a bunch of notes here. The tower is open, so we will use the tower frequency. We have center, approach and departure here, ATIS, AWOS, ground control. Now in the box here, 220, and as you notice we have dme. So where do we get that dme from? I don't see a VOR anywhere around here on this chart. They have it cleanly written right on the inside of this chart at 108.8. The DMEs are 1 DME at Poolwer, and that's 5 DME. That's the missed approach point. What is the missed approach? Missed approach is a climbing left turn to an altitude of 8,800 feet direct to the NDB station. And when we get there, our entry is going to be a parallel entry, turn, do the 5 T's. If we're at altitude, we might want to slow down a little bit. Once we go outbound for that minute, turn and do a heading that's going to be greater than 335 to re-intercept 335 bearing to the station. We are on the 155 bearing from the station. That's if we had to do a missed approach. For the procedure part of it, we go outbound. After the NDB, turn, time, twist, throttle, talk, turn, no. Well, yes, a heading of 155. Time, let's start our timer. We've already tuned, we're already identified. Outbound 1 minute. We'll do a right turn to a heading of 200. Then we'll do, and that'll be again 5 T's, turn, time, twist, throttle, talk. Time outbound 1 minute, and then turn inbound to intercept the 155 bearing from the station, but our heading is going to be 335 degrees. We notice that the intercept heading is 45 degrees. Most of them are. You can always double check that by working with this number, working with that number, and check the result you get. It should be 45 degrees. So when the needle is deflected, 45 degrees, in this case it'll be 45 degrees to the left side on the instrument, to the left of the nose. When it drops down to that 45 degree deflection, then we turn left and head inbound at 335 to the station at an altitude of 8,100 feet, being cleared for the approach. 1 DME mark is a final approach fix. the 5 dme mark, is the missed approach point. The minimum altitude circling 8,040 feet. After 5 miles from the dme picks up, we need to be visual for the landing. We have our minimum safe altitude. With the procedure turn and all this, we need to remain within 10 nautical miles. 13,300 to the north quadrant of 25 miles is our minimum safe altitude. To the south side of it is 8,000. Let's go ahead and fly this sucker. We're going to kind of do all of our checks right here where we're at. Airspeed indicator looks good, turn coordinator looks good, heading indicator, check on the compass in there. Let's do compass. Showing about 255, and we have 255 in there. We've got plenty of fuel. Cylinder head temp is still down at the bottom. We are kind of warming up on the oil. We do have pressure in the green. Vacuum is a little bit low. We can add a little bit of power to get that happening. We'll come up to 1,000 RPM. That goes up into the green, and we have our amp. So we could check that by turning the alternator off, or volts light up here, and we do. We're not going to be using the VOR. Here is our ADF, and here is the unit. We are looking at 220. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, and you see the needle starts to move. So that means the station, since we're picking up the frequency there, it's pointing to our left-hand side. We do have ground control in there, and we have our tower frequency in nav number 1, comm number 1. Then comm number 2, I have departure approach and also AWAS. Let's go ahead and listen.
0 degrees 9 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky conditions overcast at 1,600. Temperature 4. Dew point -1. Altimeter 3021. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Hotel.
Fuel pump is off. Let's go ahead and put our taxiway light on. Strobes I'm not going to use. Mixtures are forward, props are forward, cowl flaps are open, compass is set, circuit breakers are set, clutter on the floor, clean, cowl flaps are open. L for lights, taxiway lights are on, seat belts are latched, doors are closed and latched, and windows are latched. Let's go ahead and identify our ADF. 4 dots, a dot dash, 2 dots, and a dot. Good. Okay, we got our clearance to taxi. Now, I'm not familiar with this airport, so
Friedman Memorial Information. Hotel. 2250 Zulu Special. Arriving runway 31. Departing runway 13.
let's get set for takeoff. I had done some response curve adjustments on the rudder pedals. They seem to have more realism to the feel of the airplane at slower speeds as well as higher speeds. Though I might need a little bit of adjustment to have just a little more rudder response. I might just do a quick video on how I adjusted my rudder sensitivity via X-Plane's rudder calibration and response curves. And if you'd watched my extreme crosswind video, this should be no problem. This crosswind is rather minor. I'm actually using a different airplane. Airspeed indicators alive. There's 50 knots. Let's start rotating. Okay, flaps up. Tower hands us off to approach. And that's column 2. Looking good. Nice little view. A little more. Alright, we just got cleared to the NDB now. So we're going to look at our NDB. And again, this heading thing, we can rotate that here, but for now, we're just going to leave that on north. Cleared direct to the NDB, so it's going to be a right turn. Climb, maintain 8,100 feet. There's the pointer on 0, so let's see what we get. We got 0-degree deflection. The pointer's in front of us. We are going direct to the station, and we are at a heading of about 155. Now there is a wind from the left-hand side, but it might be a little bit different at altitude. Climb checks, lights off. Fuel pump I'll leave on. Power's a little bit red. I'm going to take some of that power out. Not too much. Pointer is in the beginning. Let's see exactly what we got. 155, and we're about 5 degrees or so to the right. So at that point, I'm going to do a little bit of a right turn. I'm going to go to 165. That's a 10-degree difference. So how do I know when I'm on that bearing? So when the amount of deflection equals the amount of deflection, we're approximately on course. Keep our climb rate going. Probably need about 70 in here. Air's approximately 10 degrees. Now we should be getting distance here, but we're not getting that. And you know why? That's okay, we're direct here. Let's go ahead. I meant to do this on the ground. Let's just say we got it all set up in here. Let's go back to 150. There's sun. Okay, let's enter. Flight plan. I'm going to get rid of that one. Highlight. Down 1. Clear. Enter. Back to flight plan. 155. Needle's just about 2 or 3 degrees to the left. I forgot to put the flight plan in there. But we're VFR. We're okay. We didn't really need that, but that's going to give us our distance. So right now we're showing 6.6 going outbound. Kind of worked out though. Here's our bearing from the station, 155. There is 0 degree difference. It is right on the nose of the airplane, just as our heading is, and we double check here. Looking pretty good. Probably a little bit of a difference because of the nose up attitude. Trying to work up to 8,000. Looks about 150. I could make a little bit of a difference here. Pointer's starting to move off to the left-hand side. But if I went to 155 and looked here, that's about 5 degrees. It's to the left. I'm going to turn 10 degrees. So I'm going to go to 145. I'm going to hold that. So now I'm going to wait for the deflection, since my difference in the heading of the outbound course is 10 degrees. When the head of the pointer gets pushed to 10 degrees here, that means I'm on course. Now we are getting pretty close to the VOR, or to the NDB. There's 7,000 feet. We're still trying to climb. At this point, it might even be just move to even try to make it in there. But if how do you know how close you are to it, or when you're right over top? When this needle just goes wink, swings real quick, that means you were pretty good right over top of it where you should be. And we're still trying to get up to 8,100 feet. And CDI starting to deflect means it's going to be just a little bit over to the right-hand side of us. We can bring that up in our course thing there. Let's go back to 155. We're with approach, everything's good. They clear us to 8,100 feet. It's a slow turn. I know it is kind of over to my right, so I might just give myself maybe a 10-degree course change here. Okay, now I'm at 140. That's 15 degrees. We are actually going past the NDB. We're at 140. I'm just going to hold this and we'll re-intercept it on the outbound. A little bit off to the right-hand side. Our correction, we're going outbound. We've passed over the station, turn, time, twist, nothing to twist. Only about 40 degrees, so we're about 10, 20, 30, 40. So here they say drag the tail over, you know, that kind of thing. So coming up on 8,000. Let's turn outbound forward to our heading of 155. Now we're climbing, our distance over the ground is a lot less. So we are about 5 degrees to the, off of the station there with 155. There's 8,100. We're going to go outbound for a minute and a half. Aviate, navigate, communicate, Now we just got an updraft. Okay, pointer's behind us. Wow. I'm on the instruments totally now. Bring our manifold pressure back. About 20 inches. Prop can come back. See where we're at with 155 now. Now, not perfect. Okay, there's 2 minutes, and now we're going to do a right turn to 200. Looking at our chart. Standard rate. Whoa, there are some updrafts here. We'll get her back. Turn, yes, 200. Time. Let's look at 2:30, so at 3:30 we'll do a left turn in. Sometimes I click the clock, sometimes I don't. There's our heading 200. Wow. .230. Let's get down to 8,100 feet. Power setting 20 inches. 10 seconds ago. Okay, left turn now, 020. This time, since our inbound course is going to be 20, let's put this on 020. This is the other way to do it. Standard rate turn to 020. Now the inbound course is 335. Okay, with 020, we'll double check that against our compass. And let's wait for the pointer head to drop onto 335. Right now we're at 340, so about another 5 degrees. Make sure we're at 8,100 feet. Okay, lights are off, mixture set, fuel pump, everything's good. 020. There we are. We're right about 335 now on the pointer. Notice as long as I have this in there, this is 20, that's set correctly. About 5 degrees off, that has dropped. Oh, we get to 20 here. Now we're going back up again, updraft. There's about 335. That's our bearing to the station. So now a left turn. Inbound to a heading of 335. Happens pretty quick. Let's see what we get up here. There's 335. Alright. It's shown about 5 degrees to the left. No, I'd have to put this in there. 335. And let's see what we get. Turn, time, twist, throttle time. DME 15.5. Okay, we're within where we need to be. Sometimes I just use the rudder to get me over a little bit. Altitude looks good, got a little bit of updrafts. So sometimes it's kind of hard to tell in there. That's why I kind of like to go with the 0 mark. So when I go to the heading of 335, it's showing that the station is a little bit, about 10 degrees to my left. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do about a 15-degree turn to the left. 35. And right about there, let's just go with 320. That's a 15-degree difference. That's 15 degrees. There's 5 degrees. Coming up on 10 degrees. You can almost see the course right there. We're not too far off the course. And if we look on our little nav map here, we're pretty close to that. Back to 320. Here's about 15. Let's see what we get. 12.4 on our distance. We're about 90 knots for our approach speed. Turn, time, twist, throttle talk. We're still with approach. Everything's in the green. Missed approach is a climbing left turn back to the beacon if needed. .35. Station about 5 degrees to the left, so we can go a little more. I'm going to go again 15 degrees since I'm so close. 8,100 feet, 90 knots, 320. Let the airplane do the work. Get my pops right in the green arc there. Needle starting to swing. I think we're probably, at this point, going to go back to 335, 8,100 feet. There's 335. At 1 DME or 1 crossed over the station. So far as 1. And 335, and right there's Palmer. I just put direct in there. Okay, there's 1, so we could descend down 60 feet. Oop, let's go back to 335. What was it, 40? Yeah, I'm just going to say, I'm going to call it 8,100 feet. I mean, 8,000 feet, just a little bit above. Not much. 335, let's take a look at the needle now. This is right on north, on 335. Needle is about 5 degrees to the right. Means we're to the left, of course. So at that point, just going to do maybe 20 degrees. Hold that heading. I have the airport so we can descend. But we're going to fly this bearing down. So we have 335, 45, 55, 20, 10, 20. That's pretty close getting on there. So let's go. Now if I were to swing this to the heading of 350, there it is. And there's the bearing. The outbound bearing is about 155. We're pretty close into that sucker. So if I turn to the left now, I like to keep it right on north. We have the airport in sight. There's 335. And the pointer is pretty much right on the tail, maybe 2 or 3 degrees off. .5. Well, let's see what happens if we didn't get the airport at 5. We're going to go missed approach and go direct to the holding pattern. We'll do one holding pattern and then we'll just fly that inbound. Let's say we went IMC again right now. Prop controls forward, power goes forward, left arming turn directly back to the NDB, standard rate. Positive rate of climb. Oh, if we were in the clouds, this would be a lot better. Pointer's coming around. .30 degrees to go. There it is. So now a whole big deal right here is just to keep the pointer right on that. We're just going to climb up to 8,100 feet again. Still inbound, going to the holding pattern. There's 8,000. For 8,100. And that's going to be a parallel entry. 5 T's, turn time, twist, throttle, tuck. we got 220 in there. We did identify it. We're going direct to the station. 5 degrees to the left yet. And we are going back into IMC. There's our holding pattern right there. There's these updrafts again. This is actually considered homing to the station, just keeping the pointer of the ADF needle right on the 0 degree mark or in there. You notice if I were to use this whole heading, we got 45, 145. Well, we're going to cross the station here any minute, but anyway, let's just put this at 151. Updrafts. Okay, we're pretty close to the station because it's swinging pretty quickly. So, turn. Yes, let's turn to an outbound heading of 151. Or 155. Tune, yeah, we are tuned. Twist, nothing to twist unless we want to use this. Time, let's go with 17. We're going to go call it 18. At 19, we'll turn, do a right turn for the parallel entry. Temperatures are all on the green. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to 155. There wasn't much of a wind correction angle. We're right on that money here, about 5 degrees to the left in here. Okay, 5 seconds. Let's do a right turn. Okay. Situational awareness, standard right turn. Let's let the nose fall through back down so we can get to 80, 100 feet. I'm going to overshoot my heading of 335 by 30 degrees for an intercept. Wow. It's like when you get in the clouds, it just automatically happens. Standard rate turn, 335 plus 30. So might as well call it 360. Let's go 0, let's add another 10 degrees to that. Okay, so it's 340, that's 30 plus 5, that's 35 degrees. So now we're waiting for the pointer to drop to 35 degrees or 335 with the head of the pointer.
Friedman Memorial Information, India, 2355 Zulu. Arrive runway 31. Depart runway 13. Wind 110 degrees, 8 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky conditions broken at 2,400. Temperature 4. Dew point -1. Altimeter 3021. Advise on initial contact you have in...
Okay, there's about 35 degrees difference. Let's turn back to our inbound course. Let's maintain 8,100 feet. Let's see what we get with 335. Now we're very close to the station, but I think we got on course before we got to the beacon. Relax on the rudder pedals, take my feet off every now and then. Up to about 19 inches. Waiting for the needle to deflect. Looking good. I'm having some audio issues with my microphone, but I'm working on it. Ordering a new headset here that's got better audio. Okay, the needle just swung pretty quickly. That's good. So, 5G's turn, yes, outbound heading of 155. Time, or let's go ahead and turn. Twist, nothing to twist. Turn, time, twist, throttle, talk. Turn, time, twist, throttle, talk. This is a holding pattern. Entered via a parallel entry. Right now we're on the outbound leg, so we're not going to worry about what we have here. Coming back to 155. Turn, wings level, time. Station is just a little bit, right now we are beating the station turn time, so it's 23:30, let's call it 24:30. We'll do our left turn back inbound and fly the approach down to landing. I know I had a little bit of a crosswind up there, but it wasn't too much. Double check everything, straight and level, compass is showing. Yeah, about 150, we're okay. 10 seconds to go. So now we are going to be turning inbound to a 335 degrees. There it is, the left turn now. Standard rate turn. Inbound. It's always good to say these things to yourself. Turning inbound. Oh no, I'm going inbound. Okay, we're going to fly the approach. So what's the inbound course? There's 335. So we roll out on 335. Get back up to my altitude. There's 335. feels like we're climbing at a magnificent rate. I'm about 10 degrees, the station's to the right, so I'm going to turn 20 degrees, 10. I'm going to go 25 degrees. Use 360. Look at that. See, that's the plane going up. Getting an updraft, downdraft, you name it. You, Joe Namath, it. 360 is 25 degrees. That's pretty good in there. Let's turn back inbound to 335. That's going to get us a lot closer. But we are crossing the station now. As you can see a little nav map, we're pretty close. And with our chart here, we're pretty close. Okay, 335 inbound, we've crossed the station. 8,100 feet until 1 DME. Controls are loose here. We're like right at our minimum altitude also. So we can be 8,100 feet and come down to 8,040. 335, station is about 5 degrees to the left. So let's go 15 degrees. One DME. There's 15 degrees. And guess what? I'm looking for 15 degrees. Here's 10, and so when the tail hits that, look at that, that's an updraft. And I was in a turn too. There's just no way. Three on the distance. I didn't even put hardly any power in there. Look at that. Wow. Okay, 335. Let's see what we got there. We put that little correction in there. Go wings level. Still, station is to the right. Let's go 30 degrees. 335. 345. 355. That makes 20. Let's go 005 for a 30-degree intercept. Let's hold it right there. At 1.2, we can start descending down 60 feet. Big whoopie-doo. But still, if you were in the clouds, there's one. Now we can go down a little bit further, so I'll take some power out. So what do we got here? We're almost 30 degrees. Pull the tail. See, we want to pull the tail up towards us. Push the head down. I'm at 8,100 feet, 30-degree intercept. That's about 30 degrees right there, right? Because we were pulling that tail up. So let's see what we get. Back to 335. And I have the airport in sight. A lot of times what we say is when the angle of correction equals the angle of deflection, that means I'm on course. I mean, right now if I turn 10 degrees to the right, let's do that. This should show 10 degrees to the left side of the airport. We're still on that bearing because we didn't fly off of it like a radio. But you see, that's approximately 10 minutes. Are we on course? Yeah. When the angle of correction equals the angle of deflection, you're on course. Obviously, if we continue to fly the setting, will go off course. Okay, let's go. Landing lights on. Mixtures are going to go forward. Light approach, know we have the airport in sight. It's a pretty high descent here. Now the other point, if we lose visual, numbers should be getting bigger now. We say it, getting smaller, getting bigger. So all that kind of stuff. You could use this ADF leave the north heading on there, where you can put your inbound heading. Okay? And remember, kind of like pulling the dog's tail. Hey, don't pull the dog's tail. That's pull the tail or push the head. So when the tail's on top, just think you gotta pull the tail towards you. If it's the pointer's on top, that's push the head away from you. That's how you get back on course. Some people like to put their heading in there. It's a poor man's RMI. I don't need this anymore. You know what? We're going to do a forward slip. My wing down. Keep the nose to the right. Let's pick up the rate of descent here. I got 0 flaps in right now. I did a video on a forward slip. You never know when you can use them, so that's why I do those little things, because we can use this to lose the altitude, slow the plane down, and now we can get some flaps in there. Looking pretty good, so I'm going to start taking some of that out now that I have the flaps in. Maybe a little more forward slip. Keeping the ground track the same. Using the side of that fuselage to create drag, and down we come. Nice and easy, start taking it out. A little bit of a crosswind from the right. I'm just going to leave the flaps where they're at. As we build up through the course of this channel content. Again, my name is Steve. Thank you for flying with FlightQuest 40. If you have any comments, good or bad, I don't care. I got thick skin. I may not be the best at this, but flying and talking at the same time constantly is what I used to do anyway. And they switch us over to ground control. Sometimes I forget to switch my frequency over. Sometimes I forget to put approach in there. This one I forgot to put the flight plan in there so that we were able to have the distance information. And there's my hangar. That's right, I own this hangar in Idaho. I have hangars all over the United States. All thanks to Austin Myers of X-Plane 12. Okay, once again, thank you very much. I enjoyed it. I wasn't really prepped for this flight. I just thought we would do a dme-e NDB with a holding pattern. And see, it's not really complicated when you think about angles, or you think about changing this into like a poor man's RMI. You got the head of the needle, the tail of the needle, you're going to the station, you're going away from the station. If you always keep the pointer right on the head of the airplane in the direction that you're going, and even if you have a crosswind, eventually if the crosswind's from the left, you'll continually turn the airplane to the left, and before you know it, if you have enough distance, you'll actually be driving right into the NDB, and that's what's known as homing. So really, generally, when you think about winds that are light and variable, or maybe 15 knots, and you, on your outbound course, make your wind correction angle 10 degrees. Check your heading. If your wind correction is 10 degrees, and then your pointer, so if your nose is 10 degrees to the left, your pointer, or 20 degrees to the left for the crosswind correction, your pointer will be 20 degrees to the right. If it stays there, you found the heading. If you didn't quite get on your course, but you found the heading that keeps you paralleling the course, well, then go ahead and put another 15-degree correction in there. Okay, so that's going to be 20 plus another 20, or 15 degrees, so 20, 20, 20, 35. So when that gets 35, then turn back to your original 20-degree wind correction angle, and then you'll be correcting for that wind drift on that bearing to the station or from the station. Push the head, pull the tail. If you have to tonight, just walk up and pull the tail on your dog. You'll always remember and relate that to the ADF. Be gentle with the puppy. And if it's a Doberman, well, pull the nub. Once again, thank you very much. We'll see you next Wednesday. I have another video coming up for my, I don't know what I called it, Wednesday Wings or Wings for Wednesday, but it's something like that. Wings on Wednesday, that's coming out. So I'm going to get some VFR stuff out there in the middle of the week, and I'm going to still do my Friday flights.